Hey, we're the Rock and Roll Express. One Cardinal, one club, and one beer.
And that's with Vince and JJ.
Welcome to our next episode of One Cardinal, One Cub, and One Beer, where you will find the baseball news that you all crave. You will find a little bit of maybe rock or wrestling or country music or something.
Yeah.
But we do have Alec Seymour, and I know that this is backwards because I still haven't been contacted by Zoom that they fixed my issue. But I'm wearing my Southside jersey in honor of him because the Sox are having a great year. We had him on here a couple years ago when they were in the midst of this epically bad season, and he it pained him to watch his team go through this. And me and JJ have talked ever since, and we got to have him back on when the White Sox get good. So he's going to be back on today, and we're going to talk about the Sox. It's going to be awesome. A little bit of housekeeping. Those of you who are watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to our channel so you can have our videos as soon as they drop. If you're on Facebook, please go to our Facebook page and like it and follow us on Facebook. And remember, every Wednesday after I post the show on the Facebook page, I will also post a player who is all-star caliber, who was all-star caliber, not a Hall of Famer though. And last week it was Gary Peters. And if you were the first one to like it or contact me and say, hey, the player was Gary Peters, you'll get your name put in a hat. The more weeks that you win, the more chances you are you're going to win. And at the end of the year, you get a cornucopia of our merchandise, and you're also going to get 2 free tickets to a game of your choice at a stadium of your choice. The last few weeks, we've had Ray Hartman and Marlon Dixon trading off. Marlon won this week, so a lot of fun there. And if you'd like to contact us anyway, you can contact us on any of our platforms, or you can send us a message, direct message, or you can send us an old-fashioned email at One Cardinal, One Cub, and One Beer. If you'd like to check out our merch, just go to the Etsy store, and in the search bar, just put One Cardinal, One Cub, and One Beer, and you can see our merch. JJ, how you doing?
It's fantastic. Sometimes I had a rough day at work, but nothing gets me feeling better than talking to baseball with everybody and seeing Mr. Vince. Mr. Vince always puts a smile on my face, and we have such a good time on here talking baseball. And if anybody ever wants to come on here, if you got anything to say about baseball or a collection or anything, get a hold of us. We just love talking baseball. And Vince, it was a 4th of July. I hope everybody had a nice 4th of July, a safe 4th of July. I stayed at home, but Vince, this weekend, I went to 2 card shops. One is this shop I found in Columbia, Illinois, called After the Game Sports. I got a message sent to me that they're going to have a couple players up there this Saturday, and they had this special deal, the early bird special. But Vince, I don't know how. I can't work a microwave. I can't work a phone, so I had to drive all the way over there, which is just past the Jefferson Barracks Bridge. It's like 12 miles past the Jefferson Barracks Bridge. I went over there. The guy was great, and this is not a card store per se. It's a memorabilia store. I talked to him. He had signed bats and jerseys and helmets and just anything you think. A lot of Stan Musial stuff. And what I found out was this guy runs all the big card shows. There's a yearly giant one that everybody comes in from all over the country, and he actually runs it. He's got special exclusive rights to Willie McGee and someone else. He told me his name, but when he said Willie McGee, I'm like, oh, what McGee? So I was so excited. So I'm going over there Saturday. I bought the package, and I'm going to get a couple things signed by Nathan Church and Ivan Herrera, who I've never seen available for signings anywhere. He even had connections down in Mississippi where our big minor leaguer, Joshua Baez, is down there, almost hit 30 home runs already this year. And he had his first signing, and I bet he had 15 different balls signed by him. So he's got people coming in, and I'll let everybody know when I know when somebody else is coming in. But October is the big signing. And Vince, I did get a few things. You know me, I got a few things. So this was Friday. And the couple of things I got was the package for that. And then I dreamt this. I love these Steel Perez postcards that are signed by Hall of Famers, and this one was authenticated, and it's Catfish Hunter. And
Oh,
Vince, I remember you said as a kid or growing up, you were a Cub fan and a Royal fan. Well, I'm a Cardinal fan, and I have to say Oakland A's because I just fell in love with them back in the early 70s when they were winning all the World Series. But I love the color of their uniforms, and Catfish Hunter, Ricky Henderson, Reggie Jackson. I mean, some of those are just my Raleigh fingers, and I can't believe I got that. And he cut me a really good deal because we're just talking baseball. And the deal and a half is he had a $5 box and an $8 box. I couldn't believe this was in there. It's authenticated. That's like $10 right there. So and then the plastic case that's come in, it's probably $250. So it's a $12.50 item without the item, and it's a very cool picture signed by Jason Isringhausen. That's
oh,
$8. I cannot believe that. So I'm going to put some cards in that, and that'll be in my wall. He's got the most saves in Cardinal history, and I met him once, and he was a very nice guy, but I had never seen that before. So that was Friday, and I was ecstatic. Then I seen they had a sell down in Caledonia, and they had a wiffle ball tournament. We might see some video of that later, but I so I went down there and I'm buying these boxes of I love Top Platinum Chrome. It's my favorite set this year, and I had a lot of autographs, a lot of special cards are in there, and they're based on like 55 tops. And I want to see if you know who this is, Vince. This is from that set. Do you know who that is? Let me see if you can see that.
Darren Baker,
Now, do you know who that is?
Dusty
That's
Baker's son.
Dusty Baker's son. He
Oh, he
plays
looks
for.
just like him.
You think? Okay, well, Dusty's a lot older now, but
Was that the one that was almost ran over in the World Series?
and JT Snow saved him at home plate. He ran out there. He
Yeah.
was like 3 years old, and he's got his own baseball card. Vince, we're getting old. That 3-year-old kid now is playing for the Nationals, and he's got his own baseball card. And I seen that. I said, Vince will get a kick out of that.
Oh yeah.
And then I got this was one of these cards you find in a set when you open a pack and it says congratulations, and it's a signed Michael McCreevy card on card. Now,
Oh,
for folks that don't collect, they sometimes sign like little plastic clear sheets, and the company peels them off and puts them on the card. But I like them to hold the card and actually sign it. So that's an on card signing. And to me, it's just more valuable than having him sign a plastic thing. They just stick it on there. So that was a couple of my items I got. And then I went to work on Monday, and John Recop, who's in our fantasy league, and by the way, I've had several people, hey, who's winning in the fantasy league? So I have to go over that today. But he got me one of these little postcards, a miniature one, a mini of Enos Slaughter. Look at that. Enos Slaughter, a little Enos Slaughter. This was like a 2017 card, and he put a little piece of it's a little rubber stopper on the back to keep it from sliding, but it actually magnifies the stuff on the back so I can see with my poor eyes.
oh,
So
cool.
yeah, he actually put that on there, and I was like, John, thank you so much, because I get him anything I get from the Chiefs. I'm not so much of a football guy. I give it to him, and then I take my cards to him, and he puts them under AI, and they tell me what I'd probably get it graded as, so I can save some money if it's not that good. But this is, and the card. One last thing about cards, Vince. The business is at an all-time high. It's international now. There's soccer cards and hockey cards and every sport you can think of cards, and they're just the vintage cards are going through the roof. And I looked this card up, and if this is a perfect card, it's about a $1,200 to $1,000 card, and I got it for maybe 10 cents back in 1974. But it's Jim Otto from the Raiders. To me, one of the top 3 centers of all time. So I thought, what the heck? I'm going to turn that card in. If it's top-notch card, I don't really have any sentimental attachment to it. I might move that card. So got a
Yeah.
Jim Otto. I've had that in a shoebox probably since 1974. So anyway, that is going on. There's a lot of signings. The Cardinals have a signing this weekend at the Hall of Fame. There's a card show up at Orlando Gardens on the, I believe it's Sunday, the 17th of July. And I know Bud Smith is going to be there. No hitter, Bud Smith.
No hitter. Oh,
And Gary Templeton. Yeah, it's going to be there. And I'm glad. when Gary left St. Louis, there was some hard feelings between him and one fan, at least. Not me. I love Gary Templeton. Matter of fact, I love Gary Templeton so much when we traded him to the Padres for Ozzie Smith. I was like, he can't hit. I'm an idiot. All right, I'm an idiot, but I do. Gary Templeton had a very nice career. When I met him one time, one of the nicest people, just a nice guy.
I think I was watching the Cardinal pregame show yesterday or the day before sometime, and they were talking about Jordan Walker making the All-Star team. And they said that he's only the third Cardinal position player that they've developed that has made an all-star game. Do you know who the other two are?
Well, I do. It was first rounders, people that was drafted in the
Yeah,
first
yeah.
round.
Okay,
And it's Gary Templeton and Ted Simmons.
very good.
But
So,
can I tell you, I didn't know that. I only knew it because I watched the same program you watched. That's the only reason I know that.
well, I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention, so I wasn't sure what the setup was. And then are they saying that the only position players they've developed? So I'm glad you clarified this. We do need to get together. It's
Sure.
probably going to have to be in August. I've still got this
Oh
uh
yes.
Ina
Thank you.
Slaughter
Yeah, there
pin
he
to
is.
give to you. I've
Oh, bless your heart.
got some merch to give to you.
Oh, I got stuff for you too. I'm very excited. I'm excited to see your face when I got some stuff for you.
Well, uh, let me tell you real quick. Me and Violet went to go see the Minions movie at the
Okay.
Starlight Drive-In and
Hey.
loved it. And we were also going to stay for the Steven Spielberg alien thing. I don't even remember what
Oh
it's called.
yeah.
But
Disclosure, I think.
but there was heat lightning, so we thought, let's
Ah.
let's let's go home. Love the Minions movie, but um, this Saturday there's going to be a flea market at the Starlight Drive-In, and
Oh.
we're going to be there with our pop art god stuff. So we've still got some framed movie poster replicas that you can take a look at. We still got some framed concert posters you could take a look at, and then we got some off the wall stuff that I like to do. So I think they're starting about 9 on Saturday, and I think it goes till about 1:30
Okay.
because they have to do a movie that night. So if you're in that area of Potosi, it's the Drive-In Theater Starlight in Cadet, Missouri. Stop on by and say hi and see what we got, and
All right. There you
oh,
go.
buy me a soda or something.
Heck yeah. I'm actually going to be in that Columbia, Illinois. I got to be there at 9:30 because I got head of the line privileges. So I got to
Ooh,
be there at 9:30. So when the doors open, I'm one of the first ones to get to go in.
nice,
But
nice.
I'll come back through and hopefully catch you before you get out of there.
Well, let's get into some baseball.
Woo-hoo.
Before I get into transactions, I do want to address the Wilson Contreras Cade Cavalli uh, issue. Contreras and Cavalli both got 7-game suspensions. Ethan Eaton got, or Miles Michaelis got a 5-game suspension, and Ethan Eaton got a 3-game suspension. So those are the suspensions. Concerning the actions, I don't know why Contreras is not. He called, and regardless if Savali knew what he was doing or if he's just an idiot, because his defense is, I'm an idiot. I didn't know calling a person of color boy was racist. Okay. That's his words. He's sticking to it. But I think if you're playing baseball and a pitcher strikes you out and uses a racial slur, because let's face it, sit down, boy, you say that to me, okay. With the history of that word in this nation, you don't say it to a person of color. And so I wasn't watching the game, but I watched the clip of it, and Contreras was shocked. You talking to me? Yeah. And I don't blame him for going bananas. I don't. And I know Wilson Contreras well enough. He would have kicked the snot out of Cavalli. Cavalli was very tough when his when his people got out there was in
Oh yeah.
between them.
Now he's talking smack.
Yeah, but I just if Cade Cavalli really didn't know that that's a racial slur, maybe they should have some kind of a sensitivity course at the beginning of spring training saying these are terms that you don't use because they're very offensive. And I know why Contreras got 7 games. He went after him, he threw his helmet, but I get why he did it. Um, it's an unfortunate issue that happened, but you can trash talk all you want. Players do it all the time, and I enjoy the trash talking, but you can't get racial, you can't get personal, you can't do that kind of stuff, or else you're just begging for a brawl. And um Michaelis, I think, was trying to mediate because
You too. I
he
thought the same
pitched
thing,
to
man.
Contreras. He knows him.
They're friends. Well, they're team ex teammates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But apparently something was happening or said to him that made him go off too. So he got 5 games. And I thought, well, great for the Nationals. Then I don't have to have
Yeah.
Michaelis pitch for 5 games.
I think he's like 3-8 or something. I mean, he's not having a great
Yeah.
year, but they don't have anybody better, I guess, you know. So he's out there
Yeah.
doing
But it was an unfortunate thing.
it
And
was.
I think I was more shocked when I saw it than I was, oh my gosh, there's a brawl going on. I couldn't get over the verbiage when I first saw it. I thought, did he just call him boy? And, my goodness. But anyway, so that's happened, and I thought, we should at least address it because it did happen. Um, I did have someone ask me to explain DFA again because it said you said somebody was DFA'd and then he showed up back on that team 2 weeks later. Okay. When a team DFAs you, it's called designated for assignment. You go through the waiver process, and if no one claims you, then you have the right to go to AAA for the team that DFA'd you. That's your right. You don't have to be fired. Um, it often is equivalent to a fire because a lot of times they don't want to go to AAA. They think I'm going to latch on with another major league team. Sometimes they do accept the assignment. Sometimes they don't make it through waivers. Another team picks them up. But if they do make it through waivers, there are times when they will say, "Okay, I think I can go to AAA. I think I can play my way back onto the team, and I like the team. I like the teammates I'm on, so they'll do that." Generally, I would say maybe about half the time they say, "Nope, I don't want to sign. I'm going to become a free agent." Then you are automatically a free agent, and anyone can sign you there. So what a lot of teams will do, let's say that, you know, I'll just use the Cardinals for example. Let's say that they DFA'd Victor Scott the third or the second or whichever one, maybe the first. I don't know. They DFA a Victor Scott, okay? Um, Maybe a team wants them, but if they claim them off waiver, there will be compensation. So they let the process play out. And then if the player doesn't accept the AAA, then they are ready to step in and offer them a free agent contract. A lot of times it's on the major league level. So that's how a player can get DFA'd and remain with their team is if they clear waivers and they take the AAA assignment and then they get called back up. So just wanted to clarify that because I often say DFA means fired because it kind of is fired, but the player does have the right, if they make it through waivers, to say, I'm staying with the organization. So
That was a great explanation, Vince. I think you cleared some stuff up for me as well. So thank you.
uh, I guess I've done enough damage here. I can go home now. So I am home. Let's do some injuries real quick. Injuries and transactions. For the Rangers, Corey Seager's on the 10-day IL with lower back inflammation. Pitcher Joe Ross signed a minor league contract with the Rangers. And pitcher Jake Junis was placed on the 15-day IL with a right hip impingement. For the Giants, their star third baseman Matt Chapman's been placed on the 10-day IL with a abdominal strain. Uh, Pitcher Matt Gage has been placed on the 15-day IL with a strained left elbow. And for the Mets, pitcher, former Cub closer Adbert Alzolay has been released. He's not a strikeout pitcher anymore, so injuries have just taken its toll. For the Royals, they purchased former Cub, former Royal pitcher Jose Cuas from the minors, so he's back up with the big league team. Uh, Chris Bubik is transferred to the 60-day IL with left elbow soreness. And Connor Siebold has been placed on the 15-day IL with right lat strain. For the Rockies, former Cardinal John Brebbia has been designated for assignment. And for the Red Sox, pitcher Tommy Canal has been designated for assignment. The Braves signed Andrew McCutchen, very excited about this, to a minor league contract, and they designated Roddy Tellez for assignment. I like this move from the Braves. They are thinking about the stretch run. They are thinking about the playoffs to have a veteran right-handed bat who can hit righties or lefties with the clubhouse presence of Andrew McCutchen is a big get for them. And even though I like Roddy Tellez, he's not Andrew McCutchen.
No.
For the Mariners, Julio Gonzalez or Rodriguez has been placed on the 7-day IL with a concussion protocol. For the Padres, pitcher Freddie Fermin's been placed on the 10-day IL with a head contusion, and pitcher Randy Vasquez has been placed on the 15-day IL with a right angle contusion. For the Yankees, Carlos Rodon's been placed on the 15-day IL with right elbow inflammation. For the Brewers, Jake Woodford has been released. That's okay because the Cubs picked him up.
Did you? Oh, very nice.
Because we will pick up anything right now. Pitcher Joe Kunal has been placed on the 15-day IL with right shoulder impingement. He didn't look right against the Cubs. He couldn't throw the ball over the plate. So, and we lit him up pretty good. So, that explains a lot. Brandon Woodruff has been placed on the 15-day IL with right shoulder inflammation. He's been pitching really good since he came back. And David Hamilton's been placed on the 10-day IL with a strained left hamstring. For the Orioles, former Cardinal Ryan Helsley has been placed on the 15-day IL with right elbow discomfort. We have two obituaries. This guy I really liked. Al Holland, who played from 78 through 87, passed away at the age of 73.
I didn't know that.
Pitched for the Giants, the Phillies, the Pirates, the Angels, and the Yankees. And that 83 Philly team that won the National League pennant, lost in the World Series to the Orioles. He saved 25 games for that team, was their closer. Had some excellent stuff. He just did not have that long. He only had like 2 years where he was a closer, but always battled injury, always battled a little bit of a slight weight problem too. So the other obituary we have is Darrell Jackson, who played from 78 to 82, died at the age of 70, and he spent his entire career with the Twins, where he was 20 and 27 with a 4.38 ERA in 5 seasons. So, JJ, what do you got for news?
Oh, Vince, it's exciting times. I say that every week, but it is. We're coming up on the All-Star break, but it's just not that. We got the All-Star lineups have been announced, the draft, the futures game, and the home run derby. All those things get me excited. I love the draft coming up. I'll talk about that a little more as far as Cardinal centric on that. This year there are 26 first timers that have made the All-Star team, and that's exciting. New blood. These kids will be wide-eyed, getting to rub shoulders with all the best players. That is great. But a lot of the fans have been got some heat because, why'd you vote for this guy? Sometimes you just want to see the stars. Mike Trout is going to be able to play in that game. It's in Philadelphia. He's not far from where the Phillies play ball, and it'll be his 12th All-Star game. Matter of fact, he grew up 40 miles away from Philly Stadium. And Aroldis Chapman is in his 9th All-Star game, and that's fantastic. I tell you what, each accomplishment he gets him closer and closer to the Hall of Fame. And I think he's got a real good shot at making the Hall of Fame as a reliever. Freddie Freeman is playing his 10th, and Chris Sale will also be in his 10th All-Star game. So we got a bunch of the older guys, the younger guys, and that's just how baseball goes. And I'll be honest with you, no, every year the fans aren't happy. Like, well, this guy should have been in it. Like, who's the hottest players of the first half? Or is it, I want to see the very best against the very best? And it's kind of tough to say. I know now the commissioner gets to pick like a legendary player, and I know Bryce Harper's going to be there because, well, Bryce Harper's Bryce Harper, and I think of an older player. Bryce Harper doesn't seem that old to me, but Vince, I bet he's every bit of 34 years old now. He's getting older.
Been
Yeah,
around
and
for a while.
time flies. Time flies. There are 3 teams sending 5 players to the All-Star game, and they're having very good years. The Braves, the Dodgers, and the Phillies are sending 5 players. 4 rookies are going to be at the All-Star game. That's good to see. So there's just so much going on. I'm so excited. I'll be watching the All-Star game, and congratulations to PCA for making the thing, deservedly so. He's a great player, having a great year, and it's going to be fun to watch all these guys. And every once in a while, now I'm a National League guy. I get to pull for Ryan Sandberg when him and Ozzie were playing up the middle. I'll be pulling for PCA. I'll be pulling for all the Brewers. I'll even pull for Brewers players this year. It's going to be fun, and I hope the National League takes the game. Vince, the Major League Baseball teams are copycat. Whatever works, it seems like the other teams are doing it, not only on the field, but also for entertainment to the fans. I know, I'll say this is the Cubs thing, as far as I know, where at the end of the game, you have a song and you're waving the W flags. And of course, that jerk, Fred Bird, he's trying to get on the act, doing the same thing. No. That's a Cub thing. Come up with something original. I want to shoot Fred Bird out of a cannon. I think the fans would love that. Let's do that. Let's see if that can catch on. I'm going to start a petition and get that started. The Brewers have the sausage race. I love it. Now it seems like almost a third of the teams have some sort of race. I thought the Arizona Diamondbacks have like their legendary players, like Randy Johnson, and I don't know who else is like, maybe Schilling. I don't know. But anyway, there's 4 of them. They have a race. The Pirates have a pierogi race, whatever, some kind of noodle. I don't know what the hell that is. Anyway, they have a race. So that's kind of cool. And the Twins started the bobblehead movement. I remember, I think this was like in the 97, they had a Harmon Killebrew bobblehead, and I seen a picture of it. I was like, oh my God, that's incredible. I hope the Cardinals do that. It was the very next year they had a Mark McGwire one. It's like, all right. And, I've been collecting.
Let me throw something out here real quick.
Yes.
I'm such a baseball nerd. I'm in a lot of Facebook baseball groups.
Okay.
And somebody said, should the Major League Baseball logo have a signature player like the NBA logo has Jerry West? And everybody's like, yeah, they have one. It's Harmon Killebrew.
I thought that was that's the rumor. I think it's Killebrew.
It is Killebrew. And it's like, the poor guy, he was like, all right, I thought it was just a generic dude. No, that's
he was trying. Yeah, we'll give him some love. Well, Kansas City has a new promotion, Vince, and this is kind of like, what the hell's going on? But I kind of like it. Here's the promotion. They pick a section of the ballpark. They have a 12-foot inflatable hot dog and a 12-foot on this side, a 12-foot inflatable bun. They have 35 seconds to knock them together and get the hot dog in the bun. If they do, everybody in the section wins a hot dog. It was crazy. And the clock's going, they're panicking, they're hitting everything back and forth. It's like beach balls. They're hitting them back and forth. It's the craziest thing you ever seen, and I loved it. So tip of the cat to the Royals. I would love to see that, But then you get some cities like Boston, they probably just pop the balloon on the field, or something
Philadelphia.
Like that. Yeah, Philadelphia.
They shoot it, boom, boom.
Oh,
we don't need this.
Gosh. My Lord. Yeah. But Kansas
and if
City's
Santa was here, we'd shoot him too.
Throw ice balls at him as he drives by. Oh, yeah. You were talking about the suspensions, and that's what I was going to say about Michael. I thought Michaelis was like, hey, we're friends. Hey, no, 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 I love Wilson Contreras, and maybe I had every right to that time. But and when he was a Cub with Cardinal, I love watching him play. But he always seems like he's just about ready to pop. He's just about
Oh,
ready to
oh
snap.
yeah.
And he's a leader, and his teammates love him, and he'll do anything he can for his teammates. But I was like, oh no, why would you? Everybody knows Wilson Contreras. They know he's a wild man. Do not poke the bear. Just take your strikeout or walk or whatever you did, and just go on to the next batter.
Do
There's
you
no
think
reason.
do you he's having a great year? Do you think that cost him an all-star appearance?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think there's people. It's probably split. Probably the people that was for the other team was like, oh, he should not make the All-Star team. But for the most of us, we're like, yeah, he's
Uh,
having a great year.
I'm talking about when they picked the reserves, he wasn't picked, and I thought he's having a really good season. I wonder if the
Well,
the offices of Major League Baseball said, no, we're just going to steer clear of him right now because it
I
would
hope
be a
they would.
distraction.
Well, Vladimir Guerrero's got back issues. He's going to set out. There'll be players that like,
Yeah.
especially pitchers, because I was going to mention this. I heard this morning Riley O'Brien is going in for somebody else. Somebody else can't do the All-Star game, so Riley O'Brien's going to be a member. So that's cool. He's paid. He's like a 30-year-old guy too. He's been around the league, a lot of injuries, and now he's going to make it. And these are just stories I love because you've worked your whole life to get to this point, and now you get acknowledged by the fans, and you get to play with everybody, and you're forever. You'll be no. I mean, if I ever made an All-Star team in Major League Baseball, I probably would bring it up within the first 2 minutes. Everybody would be sick of me. Yeah, we know you're an all-star. I'd be mentioning it every time I got a chance. But
Yeah.
I hope not. I think Wilson's had a great year. Now, Boston's not doing much this year. He may end up, and I don't think because of this, but some other team might really need him down the
Oh
stretch.
yeah.
As a DH, a catcher, a first baseman, he could come in and help a lot of people. And they're not doing so well. So I'd love to see him on a competitive team and being a part of something big because he deserves it. He's been a great ambassador to the game. Just don't
Boy,
rile him up. Just don't rile him up.
wouldn't he be interesting if he goes to the South Side?
Yes. It's always great when like a player like Woodruff. I would like to see Woodruff say, you know what, I'm gonna stick it to the Brewers, and comes in he's throwing darts and they can't hit him. That would be. It's always that thing I like when a guy goes into the team and he's going against his old team. Let's see what happens. It's fun. That's a great thing about baseball too, all the history and everything. Well, I am going to mention the fantasy league, Vince, because I haven't mentioned it for like 3 weeks. I will do this briefly. Nothing's really changed. There's been a few little things here, but in the American League, we have the Tampa Bay Rays. They are in first place, and White Sox were sneaking up, but now they got hot again and pushed the White Sox back a little bit. But Dennis Rose has said, I am pulling for the Rays. He never knows nothing about Tampa Bay, but now that's the team, and he's got a shot at $100. And he's like, hey, he's always contacting me and let me know about that. And 8.5 back, Marlon Dixon, the White Sox. It seems like this is a White Sox Central podcast this time, but he is really pulling for the White Sox, and they're 8.5 back. And remember, this ends the last day of August. So September is our World Series, and the two top teams, whoever gets the most wins in September is our champion. So the White Sox have some work to do. They're 8.5 back, and then falling back to 12 games. The Orioles, which is Robbie Spear, and the A's are both 12 back, and that's Scott Dunn. The Angels and the Royals are both 16.5, and that's a long way back, and that's Tony Pruno and Brody Jackson. Last place. So they're way back there. In the National League side, our good friend from New York, Mark, has got the Atlanta Braves, but they're only 4.5 ahead of the St. Louis Cardinals. Now, I don't think they have to worry too much, but John Recop has got the Cardinals, and they're 4.5 back. And then you got the Marlins 5 back. Now, that's a team you might have to worry about. Contreras would be a great veteran to go down there. And, man, that'd be a good spot for him.
That is a good fit.
Yeah, that would be a good spot for him because he's a leader, and he'd get those kids worked up. he'd do anything for him. So that would be great. Arizona Diamondbacks, which is Tom Majay, 8.5 back. 16 back is the New York Mets and Candy Barks. And finally, 16.5 back, Ray Hartman. But Ray, with a little luck, you might make it to 5th place. You're right behind the Mets. So come on, Rockies. Let's get it going. And that's it for our fantasy league. And Vince, this next thing I was going to talk about, I want your thoughts on this. There is talks, of course, of the lockout and the strike and everything that's coming up probably December 1st. And then, of course, when we get closer to the next season, it'll ramp up. And Vince, the more I see what's going on, I'm kind of with the players. I really am. MLB is showing commercials on the MLB channel. The fans want a salary cap. I'm not saying no to salary, just something a little different. I'll tell you what I'm thinking on this. But they're just bombarding the fans. You watch one game, you get about 5 commercials where the fans and we want this and it's what's good for the game. And I'm like, wait a minute now, hang on. And I think there's an alternative there. We don't have to go straight to a salary cap. And they're also talking. They made a proposal for instead of 20 rounds in the draft, 12. And everybody's got to play 2 years of college ball. And not everybody's meant to play college ball. I think that's a little much. And I think this is all designed so a player has to pay longer dues before he gets his big contract. Then, of course, they can't give out that many big contracts because there's a salary cap. Hey, that's the rules. And that's just kind of, maybe I'm simplifying it, but that's how I see. Now, this is the players have worked so hard since 74, and, they make a good living. But the owners do too. And I think the owners, they don't need any bigger piece of the pie. So here's what I propose, and it's probably naive, and I'm probably making a fool of myself, but this is kind of what I see: a salary floor. Let's say it's $150 million, and that's money you got to spend on your roster, not fixing up your stadium and everything like that. I think everybody can get behind that. And if you don't pay $150 million, you get penalized, and I'll go into that in a minute. And let's say the salary before taxes or before the penalties, let's call it 300 million. Let's just say 300 million. So 150, 300 million. You got to be somewhere in between there. And Vince, if you're under it or over it, you get penalized. And these owners, I saw a thing of how much each owner's worth. They're all worth tons of money.
Oh, yeah.
Money means nothing to these people. I mean, we're dollar heirs. These guys, some of them are billionaires. So, and then some of them have a corporation where they're all rich. So this is what I say: you don't take their money, you take their draft choices. All of a sudden, the Dodgers are, and deferred money. Maybe from here on we can make that so, but now we can't do anything about the already deferred money. But in the future, that deferred money counts for your money you're spending on your team. I say you take their players. Like if you go over 300 million, you don't have a second round draft choice. If you go over 325, you don't have a first round draft choice. You better fix for next year. You won't have that. Not that somebody else would get the draft choice. It's just like instead of 30 teams drafted, it'd be 29 or 28, whoever went over this amount. And now say the White Sox, who have the first pick, well, they would get the 29th pick too, because the Mets and the Dodgers are way over that cap. I just think something could come together. And I think the owners are really, because they're going to know they can hold out longer than players. The players have a little fund I think they set up, but it's going to go fast, and they have a lot of money, but it will hurt the game, and eventually that's going to hurt the owners more. And these players, I mean, they've worked their whole life. You never know how long their career is going to be, and they could cut them tomorrow. Now, if they got a contract, they're going to get paid what they have on their contracts, but it's just I'm kind of with the players, and maybe I'm on the wrong side of this, but that's how I feel, Vince. How do you feel about all this coming up?
Well, I'm definitely with the players because this is a mess that the owners made.
Yeah.
The owners gave out these contracts, they've paid these players, and they say, well, it's skyrocketed. We have to do something about it. No, you're the dummies that gave out the money. Okay. So screw you. I gone home. In the words of Eric Cartman.
Yeah.
I love what you're saying. I really do. If you're over, I mean, my version of it was if you're under, you have to sell your team, which I know is kind of, stupid, but My fear is that you're going to have teams who are going to go under and say, okay, we'll sacrifice a second round
Draft
pick or
choice.
whatever, you know. Um, in that case, you know, if they abuse the system, make them sell the team. Okay. I like what you're saying. I think it's more realistic to do that than what I'm saying is that there's no ceiling. Uh, but yeah, there's still the penalties if you go over, but get rid of the deferred contracts.
Yeah.
I think that that's something that we could combine with this, but I do like that penalty because you are taking away commodities, future
Yes.
commodities that's going to make them money, and that will speak to them. If the owners lock this out and it leaks into the season, I I think there's going to be you're going to have a worse backlash than you had in 94. And you're not going to be able to say, okay, everybody wants you to juice up and hit a lot of home runs and bring the fans back. No, we've been down that street before. You fooled us once. Shame on us. You're not going to fool us again. Okay. You're not going to artificially put excitement into this game, and we're just going to buy into it hook, line, and sinker. Um, so I am firmly with the players.
Mm.
Um, but if the players want to play, I think the players even understand this is going to hurt the game. But if we start giving concessions to them, then where is it going to stop? And I
That's
think
right.
your proposal is a really, really good compromise for both players and the owners. I've heard plenty of players on podcasts. They talk to the fans. They know what's at stake if they don't go out and play. They do. I would like to think the owners would know what's at stake too. Um, so I am optimistic that if we lose anything, it's not going to be terrible. It's not going to be 50, 70 games. You know, maybe a week or two when as they hash this out. I could live with that actually. I could live with a 145 game season or whatever it would be. Um, but I definitely think that I hope someone's listening to this that has power because I think that that is a great.
Oh,
Um,
thank you. I came up with that this weekend and I thought they don't care about money. They got all the money in the world. But the players, because the Dodgers just keep they got a great farm system and they just keep coming up with these people, trading them out and keeping that machine going. And I thought if they didn't have that minor league, now they're starting to get old. Because here in a couple of years, I like Mookie and Freddie and Otani's, his body's been breaking down a little bit. They're starting to get a little long in the tooth. So, it's going to be something. And baseball's in a great spot. And also, I didn't think the owners would even bring this up, this negotiation. I thought they would the next one because all these teams are going to start getting these TV deals. And I know the Dodgers have a huge one. I think it was something like eight $8 billion over 5 years or something like that. It was a crazy money. Now the Cardinals, maybe the Cubs could get something close, but us, there's no way. But all these teams, because that one organization kind of went down, and they're all getting new TV deals. I think that's even going to bring in more revenue. Overseas, it's huge right now. So this would be a terrible time. I hope the owners just push this back to the next negotiations about that, and baseball goes on as it is right now. But I just wanted to say that because it was fresh on my mind, Vince, and all these commercials the owners are putting out. I'm like, that's not fair. That's not fair that they say we all feel this way. I hate when people do that in any walk of life. Like,
no,
oh,
I think that your casual fans, yeah, we need a salary cap. They get paid too much. But if you understand the nuance of what's going on, the owners are still making billions of dollars.
yes,
They're much richer than the players.
I'm for the working man.
Yeah. The issue is poorly run teams and teams taking advantage of a system now that will allow rich teams like the Dodgers to stock up on all these veteran stars. And if you do take away the deferred contracts, that makes it a more even playing field. And then if you exceed the 300 million or whatever ceiling, start penalizing them with the commodities, because that it's not just players that are going to help your team, it's players that you can trade for. It Your whole leverage is your minor leagues talent. And that's why, we talk about, a couple times a year on this, the state of our minor leagues. Because when you don't have the minor league talent, not only do you not have much of a future on the horizon, you don't have any commodities to trade. And that's kind of where the Cubs are right now. There's not a whole lot of commodities we can trade right now. Um, it, you know, you look at a team like the White Sox, which we're going to talk to Alec about, the White Sox, even though they were terrible for a few years, they bottomed out. It was a terrible culture. They drafted smart, and they have built up a tremendous minor league system. A few years ago, when the Padres were bad, and they positioned themselves to where they had all these minor league commodities to where they could trade off and get a Juan Soto. And they got Fernando Tatis Jr. from the White Sox because the White Sox were in a stretch run and they needed pitching, and they got the wrong pitcher, of course. But yeah, I do think that yeah, James Shield, that's who it was. I do think that you're onto something there.
Well, and look at the Nationals now. They got 5 players for Soto, and 2 of them were Abrams and Woods, I believe, from the Padres,
Yeah.
and that's their centerpieces of their team. And they're a formidable team now. They're kind of rebounding, so it's exciting. But Bagwell, he was a minor leaguer. I think the Tigers had him or something, and they got Doral Alexander, and he went down to Houston, and the rest is history. It's just that's the great thing about baseball, the young players coming up. So, oh, it's going to be fun, Vince. And I hope they get this solved. And Major League Baseball's listening. I will, for free of charge, I'll go up there and straighten everything out for you. All right.
No, they can afford to pay your airfare and
Okay.
hook you
Yeah.
up.
Throwing some Mountain Dew for me. I'll be happy. Can I go to Cardinal stuff?
What's going on with the Cardinals?
Well, Jordan Walker, first All Star game, and we talked, I think, before the show about some of these things. He's the youngest player on the field to make the All Star game since Albert Pujols, which is great, and he's the first outfielder to make the All Star team since 2015, Matt Holliday. So that's pretty cool.
Wow, I
And,
didn't
and
realize it'd been that long since it.
yes, yeah, we've had some Gold Glovers and some Silver Sluggers, but no All Stars. And then also the first round draft choice to make it since Ted Simmons and Gary Templeton. They're the only 2 other first rounders that made it to the All Star game that we drafted. So, just because you go in the first round don't mean you're going to be an All Star. Saturday is the amateur draft, and the Cardinals picked in the 13th spot, which is great. The Cubs picked 23rd, and the Cardinals have 6 picks in the first 86 players. So this was the plan. We made some moves. We had some bad years. When you're bad, you usually move up to the. Now they have a lottery system, so if you get through the lottery, but we have a lot of picks. You never know if you're going to hit on them. But say you have 6 picks and 86 picks, if 3 of them hit, that was a pretty good draft. So
Yeah.
we'll check and see the futures game. 2 Cardinals are in the futures game, and I always like that. A lot of our great players that's on the roster now have played in that futures game, and we have Liam Doyle, who was our first round draft choice last year, shown a lot of promise. He still needs to work on his accuracy, but he can strike out. He's got strikeout, swing and miss stuff, they call it. So he'll be pitching in that game. And Ronel Rodriguez, he's a catcher. He's playing at Springfield, and he is our future catcher. The Cardinals have 5 of our catchers are in our top 30 prospects in the St. Louis organization. I don't want to make it sound like they're that we got 5 in the top 30 of all of baseball, but the Cardinals' top prospects, he is our top catcher, and he's coming. He's in Springfield. And Vince, he is 18 years old. And this kid can hit. They call him Tank or Hulk. And he's a big kid. And He's a hitter. So all these other guys now, maybe somebody's going to have to be the backup. And he's coming, though he might be here. I remember Ivan Rodriguez made it to the big leagues when he was 19 years old, and he was by far, it was in no time, he was the best catcher in baseball. So we've got, keep your fingers crossed, Cardinal fans. Hopefully he's doing that. And I tell you what, the Cardinals are in a tough stretch right now. We played the Braves and the Cubs, and we're right now playing the Brewers, and then we played the Braves again. And I consider these three teams, besides the Dodgers and the Phillies, the best of the National League. Top teams. We're seeing what we're made of. The games have been, I tell you what, we're competitive. That's what I'm saying. We're not going to walk on the field and just wipe anybody out, but we were competitive with these teams, and that gives me hope for the future because not a year, 2 or 3 years ago, we weren't even in competitive games with these teams. So now we're at least being playing respectful ball, and I really like JJ Weatherholt's making some veteran type decisions. He played shortstop in the first game of the doubleheader today. We've lost the first two games 4-3 to the Brewers, but they were tough games. Some of our, I say, second tier relievers have been getting hurt. And right now we're just rotating people through from Memphis to St. Louis and trying to keep everybody healthy and rested arms pitching. But right now it seems like our bullpen's been the weak link. Our starting seems to be picking it up in our hittings. I'm so proud of our hitters. So
I
for
I think your weak link has been your defense.
oh
If you
real,
could tighten up the defense, you lost last night's game. With Fermin threw the ball and
yes he did.
on a
He
double
made
play
two
ball,
errors. Yes,
and then
and he did knock the
today,
ball down when Walker threw one the third, which was good. It's just a little off, but he should have just knocked it down. But he didn't even knock it down. I was like, he's really not a third baseman, but he's playing there because
yeah.
he don't strike out. He puts the bat on the ball, and good things happen. He's been hitting good. But
Well,
you're
he
right.
needed to put the glove on the ball.
He needed to put your chest on it. Take one for the team. Yeah.
Yeah, and in today's game, I got home in time to see the collision at first, which shouldn't have happened. That's a
No.
ball you got to put in your pocket, and perfect bunt. But anyway,
Stanek and that kid Torres, who's not doesn't get to play a lot because he's got speed, but I think he took the wrong read and tried to cover up two
yeah,
guys at first, and then he got mowed over. And a nice kid, he's like a 27-year-old rookie, and worked hard to get there, but he's just he doesn't get to play a whole lot, and he's not a second baseman, but he was out there playing second today.
yeah.
But that's
I
neither here
think
nor there.
Stanek, the first in was it the sixth or seventh when he came in, walked the first batter, and he
I,
came in and scored. Stop
Vince,
walking the first batter.
I know it just it irritates me. It's like fingernails on a chalkboard. Just let him hit. Maybe somebody will catch it. But I tell you what, Church plays a great. Now he made an error the other night. And he plays a great center field, not PCA level, but he's a very good center fielder. He can fly, he can catch, and got a pretty good arm. In left field, though, we have like a smorgasbord. I like Newbar plays the better defense of any of them, but sometimes we need a different bat there. So Fermin or Sandoval will be out there. And then in right field, Jordan Walker's become a much better fielder. I think Burleson plays good. But our defense is not Cubs level, but probably as good as anybody else. But the Cubbies, I put him up against the Dodgers defense on the infield. JJ plays his WAR is over 4 already, and
Yeah,
we're
and
just
why
not.
he's not on the All-Star team, I'll never know.
Well, second
This,
base.
this okay. 2 years ago, I felt like Mason Wynn got a snub. And this year, I think JJ Weatherholt got a snub. And I know the Cardinals have a storied organization. They've had plenty of all-stars, blah, 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 blah. But when you've got young players who are exciting and are talented, man, put them on the all-star. Weatherholt should be an all-star. Walker certainly is an all-star.
He's had good years.
He has become a stud. And I didn't see it coming. I thought he was, well, man, they sent him to AAA last year and he
I
didn't have any
know.
power. And all of a sudden he's retooled his swing and he's got his power and I'm very happy about that. But Weatherholt should be on the All-Star team. Maybe he will with injury or something. And I just hope that I hope he gets recognition because not only is he a special player, he carries himself like a 10-year veteran. He's
Classy.
yeah, he's the only way you don't know he's a 10-year veteran is that he looks 14 and blows bubbles all the time. Other than that, he looks
Yeah, he has 12 pieces of gum during a 9 inning game to choose. He's always constantly, but I just love his enthusiasm and plays a great defense. And him and Mason win up the middle. Oh, I'm so excited for that for the future. And I want to tip my cap to the Cubs. We had a series with the Cubs. It was I'll just say I really enjoyed it, but I will say this. Uh there was probably I think there was 7 or 9, maybe 9 players hit in the game. The Cardinals hit 5 Cubs and the Cubs hit 4 Cardinals. I think that's how it went. But I will say this. There was no intention. And I will say 3 of the hits, I think, was Libertor. And God love him. You got to get the ball. You can't be hitting people. Now, sometimes they crowd the plate and you got to go inside. But if you can't control the darn ball, you're not going to go. And nobody was going above the shoulders. It was all, maybe you missed the thing here, but you get them on the back of the arm over here. And I hate that. But the Cubs and the Cardinals, both teams, they just took their stuff off, or the doctors came out and looked at them, made sure they were okay. And they went to first base and there was no problems. And I just think that's good old fashioned baseball, because the Cubs did not mean to hit us. And as far as I know the Cardinals didn't mean to hit the Cubs. So yeah, that's the way it should be. Just that happens in baseball, you know. Now, if Wilson Contreras is here, there might be trouble.
well after last night's game. I kind of decided um Dustin May put himself in the conversation of this is this is a starter that a contending team is going to go after heavy.
I
If
agree.
the Cardinals during this stretch before the All-Star break and immediately after, if they don't string together a hot streak, I think May is gone, and I think you can get a really good trade. And you're kind of stuck in this position. You haven't been to the playoffs for a few years. Do you want to just make an appearance, or would you rather trade him and get some good chips there?
Vince, I'm
And
all
I'm
for making our team better in the long run. If
yeah,
somebody wants to wow us, and that's why we got 47 wins, and I took that bet out for 70. But I could see he's been hit twice by line drives in the ankle, and he tries to stay in the game. Of course, they're not his best games, but he shows up, pitched a little early for the first game, and I love the guy. I hate to see him go, but somebody's going to wow us. I think Newt Bar could be that guy too. We got a lot of young outfielders coming, and if somebody wanted Newt Bar, I could see that. So here's the thing: we trade off Newt Bar and May and O'Brien. Uh, well, I don't think our team will be quite as good right now, but in the long run, whatever we get back for them could make us even better. So
yeah.
I'm if it makes us better, Vince, I'm all about trading them.
Is that
And
it?
that's it. That's it.
Okay.
I'm sorry. There was just I did like a day in a life. Boom.
Okay, I'm going to go through transactions again because there are many, because we have a revolving door that leads right to our pitching mound. We signed former Cardinal Jake Woodford this week. He last stint with the Brewers. We sent Jordan Wicks to the minors. We sent Vince Velasquez to the minors. We called up Drew Pomerantz, made his appearance against the Cardinals. We DFA'd Bryce Wilson, who did have one good I think he pitched 4 innings of shutout ball. Gosh, I think that was against the Brewers. He had a really good outing, but we've DFA'd him. Jamison Tyon is in the minor league pitching rehab, and Edward Cabrera is looking good throwing off the mound. And they think, they'll put him in a rehab program, and they think that maybe by August he'll be back. So we're trying to tread water. PCA was player of the month in June for the National League, 381 average, 11 home runs, 21 runs scored, 20 RBIs, 8 steals. He is the Cubs' lone all-star representative, and he's the only one who really deserves to be on there, except for Ben Brown, who's injured. So this week we went 3-2, 1-2 against the Cardinals, and then we who did we play early? The Padres. Yeah.
That's right.
So since our last broadcast, we went 3-2. Uh, this is just how we are. In last Tuesday night's game against the Padres, we're up 9-3 in the ninth. And Cass said, "Well, you got this one." I said, "Not with our bullpen," and we won 9-7. That's how
Ooh.
we have to have a big lead before I feel comfortable. Um, Wednesday's game against the Padres, we won 23-3. Swanson, 3 home runs, including a
Oh,
grand slam, 8 RBIs. Conforto, 2 home runs, 2 RBIs. So we're feeling ourselves. The Cardinals are coming into town, and then they crush us on Friday, 17-1. Uh, and then Saturday we just stunk. We in the fog. It was a weird game.
that was
And then I
weird.
thought, oh gosh, I'm not watching Sunday's game. I did not watch Sunday's game. I would check my phone. We tried to blow it at the end, but you know, we didn't. So we're kind of a team that right now we're doing it with mirrors. We're up 3-0 in the seventh against Baltimore. So it's
All
a good thing
right.
we're playing a pretty weak Baltimore team right now, pretty banged up Baltimore team. But yeah, it's just one of those seasons now where I'm like having fun with it. If we make it to the playoffs, I'm fine with it. If we don't, I'm fine with it. Like I said, I'm a realist. You can't overcome this kind of injuries to your pitching staff.
It's been crazy.
It's just hard. So we need to get pitchers who are healthy, and then we need to find something at the trade deadline that's going to be real help, not Mike Soroka. Okay. So you want to get to our guest, Alex Seymour?
Oh, bring in Alex.
We
Yes,
haven't seen him
sir.
for a couple years. Let's bring in Alex. 2 years ago, we had Alex Seymour on here, and the White Sox were in the process of losing 120 games. And he was not happy. In fact, me and JJ have referenced many times over the past couple of years, boy, he looked depressed.
I was
So
worried about him. I really
now
was.
that the White Sox are good, we wanted to get you back on
Oh, yeah.
because now you could talk more proudly about your
Yeah.
team. Did you see this coming?
In short, no, I did not at all. And granted, it's early. I'm not going to jump the gun here and be like, they're going to win 99 games and go to the play. I mean, but holy crap. I mean, setting records 2 years ago, that was just brutal. And I didn't see this. I didn't see this coming. I did think they were going to be better with Will Venable at the helm because I just think he's kind of he's younger than the last couple guys we've had. And, the Pedro Grifol experiment did not work out. Mistakes happen, but I think they found the right guy. And with all the right talent that they've been developing, it seems like we've been hearing about the rebuild. At least I have since 2017, when they're going to rebuild around before they shipped off sale to Boston. But it's just like it's kind of coming to full bloom here, and it's really a shock, but it's most welcome. It's very pleasant. The amount of one-run wins we've had this year compared to the amount that we have suffered the last 2-3 plus, it's beautiful. So I'm really happy. Fingers crossed that they don't, things kind of stay that way. I know we got our big slugger, Munataka. He was sidelined for a bit, but he's coming back. He's making his AAA rehab assignment right now. So it's just about, who are they going to send down? But I can't really be worried about. Also, I'm not sure if you guys are aware. Sam Ananachi is from Springfield, Illinois. He attended school. High school, at least here, Springfield. I believe he went to Sacred Heart Griffin. So he's a hometown guy. And so for me, I can't say I've ever met him, but it's very exciting. It's really exciting. And, he wore the number 17. That's cool. He's saying to me, it's like, hey, I'm pretty good too, just because he's not the tallest guy out there. And I love that. You can see that these guys don't give up. They fight a lot more. And it's refreshing. So
That's the beauty of baseball. Teams come and go, players, And every once in a while, it's beautiful when it kind of clicks.
Oh
And
yeah.
I'll be honest, I didn't see this coming either. And I like the Central, the American League Central. I like something about all the teams. I lean a little to the Kansas City Royals because I've been out to their stadium a lot. But
Yep.
when I was in the Navy, I used to go down to old Kaminsky Park and watch the games. And I've seen a couple of games with the White Sox this year, and the crowd is energized. It's fun to see. And the only players I really know are the two Montgomerys and that
Yep.
one, the first one that played all year. I don't know if the other one's been with them all year, but man, they are electrifying. And the Japanese player, it seems like the city's just the fans have taken him in. And
Yeah.
who else should I keep an eye on? Who else are some of the big stars on the team? Who's the big pitching star for the
Big
White Sox this year?
pitcher.
Is
I
there a
really like he
Perez?
made what's that? Oh,
Is
Davis
it,
Barton. Yeah. Right now I'd say he's probably the main guy right now. And there have been his I'd say about 3-4 starts ago, people started to figure him out. He got shelled pretty hard. But
it happens.
that's just the nature of the game, especially when you're playing the same teams in the Central. They're going to do
Yeah.
their homework. They have scouting specifically for that. But I really like Noah Schultz, and
Oh, okay.
Noah Schultz, he is Chicago area guy. Wears number 22. He made a couple of starts. Also, David Sandlin, whom I didn't really know much about. He was a little less under the radar than Schultz was because he was a really high draft pick, and I think he was at a Lombard or somewhere up north. So the fact that they got him playing for on that side for the Chicago team, and then they've really been able to draw in a lot of Japanese fans to get them out. I don't want it to just be the Dodgers that are doing stuff because they have big boy Otani. I mean, that's understandable that they're going to grow that, but you got Munetaka Murakami, who is probably the second best known, and then another guy that made his debut this season was Riku Nishida, like a really and again, these guys aren't monsters. That's what I like about it. They're under 6 foot. Riku Nishida at least, and Antonacci. But he had like 9 putouts in his debut, and then made like a really spectacular throw. It just seems like everything and everyone they've been trying to showcase this year has worked out really well. And fingers crossed that they do not ship off a bunch of people in some dick brain trades. This has happened before. Just look at what the Bulls did for Io DeSumo. I can't touch too much on that, but Chicago kid, and then Minnesota ends up signing him to a big contract. But I'd say as far as the pitching stars go, I really like Schultz. He'll probably have a rough rookie season, just transitioning, but he's been really solid. He's been solid. I also like Hagen Smith a lot, but he was
I think
like the
he's an
all
Arkansas kid. I think
yeah
he came up by the
yeah
Razorback,
yeah
and he was great in college. I think good things are
yeah
ahead for that kid.
yeah, and hopefully things stay that way because he had I think it was either definitely like the Arkansas school record for strikeouts, and it might have been NCAA as well. Like I just remember hearing about how he would just go like 14, 15, 17 strikeouts at a time, and the fact that we drafted him too, and yeah, I think so. Braden Montgomery was the younger of the two Montgomerys. And then
Okay,
Colson he's only been around for like a year, but he's already got like 40 something home runs.
phenomenal.
He's been doing great. Fingers crossed that in the fact and these kids are freaking strong. I mean, and a lot of these home runs that are happening, I'm looking at it, they're happening, they're lefties and they're going against lefties. And they're throwing fastballs up and in, and they are turning on it and sending them out of the park. And that is just I don't know. It's just
Fun.
it's fun. Yeah. I haven't what's the word that has been eluding me these past several years for this team? Oh, it's fun. That's right.
Oh,
There we go.
I think Venable has done a great job telling these kids, we're not waiting for you to develop. You go out there and you play hard now and keep
Yeah.
working on your game. We're gonna win, and then we'll just continue to win more.
Yep.
And Colson Montgomery, I've watched about 7 or 8 White Sox games, and Colson Montgomery, I know he's got a low batting average. The guy's going to hit 40 home runs this year. He's going to drive in over 100. Why he's
Yep.
not on the All-Star team, I have no idea. How you only got one person is ridiculous. Um,
Yeah.
but I've watched a lot of videos on the White Sox and their ballpark situation, and they've talked about buying some of that land that is, I guess, kind of a no man's land in the middle of Chicago, and
Yeah.
building a new stadium there. And I don't know if moving out of the South Park more towards the downtown area would help because they're so identifiable with the South Side.
Yeah.
But it seems to me that the fans actually this year started showing up even before they knew they were going to be good with a chip on their shoulder. Like,
Oh yeah.
damn it, we're White Sox fans. We've been kicked around for 2 years.
Yeah.
We're gonna come and we're going to make this stadium rock, and they have.
Yep.
And I when did you start believing in this team? And I'm not saying they're going to win 100 games, but I do definitely think they have just as good a shot at winning the Central, especially after losing the first two games in Cleveland and then coming back to split that series.
Oh
That's not
God.
easy
Yeah.
to do in Cleveland.
Let's talk about. Yeah, I was just saying. I think Cleveland for the White Sox especially is the hardest place to win. And I don't know if it's because their stadium's like sort of like underground there a little bit, or what. But they're always a good team. They're a thorn in our sides every single year. And Stephen Vogt's done a great job, and it seems like they're really a pain in the ass. So, but that was such a tightly contested series. But the fact that again, they didn't give up. Yeah, they lost the first two games in heartbreaking fashion. You battle hard all game, and then you lose on a walk-off home run. You blow a save. The next game, it's more tightly contested, but you still lose to a walk-off. And then the next two games, it just shows their resilience. And it's just like, okay, yeah, you got one bias here, and then okay, you snuck another one bias. That's fine. That's baseball. But I don't know. I'm glad that Vargas got on the All-Star team, though. I think if there's anyone that's kind of picked up the slack in the absence of Munataka, it's been him because he's not just a third baseman; he's been playing first too as well. And they called up Jacob Gonzalez for that. The thing is, these people, I mean, they have Sam Ananachi playing in left field, though he's a second baseman. They got like all these like position players playing in different spots than they've played in their entire lives, and they're still doing pretty great for the most part. Um, as far as Montgomery not going, Colson, that could just be because of his batting average and his strikeouts. He does tend to strike out a little higher.
But he's producing.
Yeah, but he could still, the way I view it is maybe this is more fuel for him in the second half and then the rest of the team to be like, hey, well, they don't think we're all stars. Why don't we go show them the rest of the season what we're capable of? And I think that's what Venable has been trying to do, as well as, celebrating and being positive and kind of being on the same page as everyone. Whereas you had La Russa, it just wasn't, there's been a lot of turnover, but I think they got again, they got the right guy. In my opinion, they got Derek Showman for their hitting coach. They got what was it, Bove? Somebody. They got a new pitching coach. They replaced Ethan Katz. It just wasn't working out. So they made adjustments, and it's just nice to see them not blowing tight games like they were last year all the time. Their bullpens, they went out and got Sir Anthony Dominguez. Maybe he's not doing super great right now, but still very solid. It's
You mentioned Vargas.
Yeah.
And I was trying to think the other day who he reminds me of, not necessarily as a player, but his career, because he's bounced around everywhere, seems like. And now he's putting it together. Uh, it's kind of like Jose Bautista, who went from team to team to team early in his career. And then he landed in Toronto, and suddenly it all clicked for him.
Yeah.
And it was almost like, yeah, after being in the league for 6 years, he's now an overnight success. And that's kind of how I think about
Yeah.
Vargas. He's been around for a while and bounced around. And then suddenly he just lands there and puts it together. And yeah, I thought they would be better. I was thinking, they'd be good to do 70 wins this year. But after we went in there and you spanked us around, and I was like, okay, they're they're going to be a good team.
Yeah.
I don't know how if they're going to hang on during the stretch, we'll see. But here we are 90 some odd games into the season
Yep.
and you're still right in it. And it's a weak division. And when you stack your team up with the other teams of the division, it stacks up rather nicely. So I think you've
Oh
got
yeah.
a really, really good shot. But I will say this as a Cub fan, I don't like getting swept. I don't like going to Milwaukee, St. Louis, or the South Side, but I think that was good for the fans in the South Side.
Oh yeah.
That was, as a baseball fan, as a Cub fan, I didn't like, but as a baseball fan, I thought this is good for this organization.
Oh yeah. I think that win. I mean, again, someone has to lose, and unfortunately, it was the Cubs for that day. Edgar Caro was the hero, who was probably the most unlikely hero. I think that was his only home run of the season. And now that Kyle Teal's back, I believe Caro got optioned. You got Drew Romo, who stepped up nicely, like real nicely in his absence. And again, these are people that weren't necessarily on the call up radar. Um, but I think it's just, people didn't expect them to be this competitive. And it's just been, I don't know. It's nice beyond words. It's kind of just something, yeah. After me talking so much about him the past decade or so, it's nice to just kind of sit and just like they seem to be lining up all right. And with the injuries for the Tigers and the Twins being lackluster and the Royals kind of having issues with their big stars and Salvador Perez, he's been around for a minute. I think he's just kind of feeling the age factor. But I just don't think I think everyone kind of had White Sox maybe at fourth or fifth place this year, and them eating, kind of hearing those expectations, maybe it fired them up. I think it's probably that could be what happened. I don't know. Maybe it's just the coaching. I think these guys are just they're incredibly talented too. I mean,
I
it's
think it helped to get rid of Luis Robert Jr., Eloy Jimenez,
yep.
some of these players who are very toxic
Oh yeah,
and talented but toxic. And I think that helped a ton.
definitely. I remember. Well, and you got Luis Robert. It was a great one-for-one swap. It was like Robert for Luis Angel Acuna, who arguably you could say has underperformed this year, but he's still, I mean, I didn't have high expectations for him. And look at where Luis Robert is at now. He went there, he kind of did his thing. He walked off one game, he hit like one or two home runs, and then he hit the IL again, just like the same exact thing that was happening the past several years when he was with the White Sox. And I think part of that toxicity is just the fact that, and you had Tim Anderson in there as well that maybe didn't mesh that great with other folks along with you have two or three different managers during your time there, you're probably just not going to care. And I think that's just what happened, despite their ultra talented nature. Like Luis Robert it just didn't really pan out. And then you had Yohan Moncada as well, who just didn't care at all. And he's with the Angels now, and second year with the Angels, who that's kind of where you go for your career graveyard, in my opinion, in the major. So you can have
Well,
fun with that.
Baseball purgatory.
well said.
Basically. So, and I don't. Oh yeah, I don't. I don't think that the White Sox will ever get too serious about moving. At least if they do, they don't have my support, and I feel like that's kind of. Again, I don't know. Things can change in an instant, as we've all seen. They could just be like, "Hey, well, we got the right backers for this construction. Let's do it." But I remember when they were proposing that idea, the stadium graphic had Luis Robert like in the middle of it, so like that was kind of, I think a lot of it was maybe stuff went to his head too much, as well as Moncada, and then Jimenez just got tired of hearing it when he would get injured, which was pretty often. And I do like Aloy, but like he was not a great outfielder. Still had great power. And I think he's with the Blue Jays unless he got cut. He started off the year with the Blue Jays at least. So
Yeah.
I think he's a good person. It just didn't work out for on the roster.
The White Sox are coming to St. Louis this year. The White Sox are coming, and I want to go to that game for many reasons. I want to see the White Sox. I want to see what's happening, but it's also the weekend where Pujols and Yachty go into the Cardinal Hall of Fame. So it's
Oh,
going to be a bit. We got better crowds this year, but still not like it was. We were kind of riding a hot streak, and the fans were coming out when Yachty and Pujols and Wayno were saying goodbye. So
yeah.
everybody was coming out. We had full houses. Then after that, there was a big drop off, and the team wasn't very good, and the fans just didn't come out to the ballpark anymore. So it's slowly coming back with all of our good players, but I want to see the White Sox. So what I'm getting at it with this question is, before we even started, I admired you and Vince's White Sox jerseys. The White Sox probably have changed uniforms more than any team, maybe the Padres too, more than
Yeah.
any team I've ever remember. And I collect baseball stuff, and I want to get a White Sox jersey. So if you could get any player and style, what player and what style would you get of a White Sox jersey? And
And,
while you're thinking, I can answer this for me. I grew up with that little. The White Sox had a little man with a bat in his hand on the hat.
yeah. Yep.
I like that, and I like the stop, the cross tier.
Yep.
And I would either get Carlton Fisk. I love Carlton Fisk, White Sox Carlton Fisk, or Joe Jackson, Fearless Joe. I would them are either one of those two. Not I would get a replica jersey of either one of those two with that Sox thing.
Yeah, I love the 70, what the hell? It was like the 79 jersey, whatever, the logo with the red
Yeah.
and blue. Yeah, they used to wear that on Sundays for Sunday jerseys until like maybe a couple of years ago. There's like, hey, we're gonna stop with that, and then teams started coming out with the alternates, and then they did the all black South Side, and I think they might have lost too many. They're like, we'll try a different. They're like, all right, well. They're like, oh, okay, I guess we'll try a Bulls thing, and licensing was
It's
probably
working.
yeah, licensing, no problem because Jerry owns both teams. Like, hey, let's do it. So, but I think that's a great. Oh, I'm not even answering your question. I'd probably like to get a Frank Thomas,
Big hurt.
like a super nice one with like the Sunday Sox, red and blue and white. That'd probably be my peak. Or Shoeless Joe, because I mean, look at everybody that cheats now. Everybody knows that like it's rigged now. It's not even not even an argument. But yeah, he took the brunt. I mean, and there's sports betting everywhere. They're probably doing it in the dugout. More investigations to come, I'm sure. So look at Emmanuel Clase. That was just
I have Cincinnati family that loves the Reds. Well, I don't own them. I just own them. Okay, let's say that. But they claim they won 4 championships, and I said, wait a minute, you got to forfeit one. They don't count. The White Sox are doing that one. They helped you all they could, and he still barely won the thing. So don't count that one.
Can't count it.
That's right.
I'll tell you, I'm weird. I started watching the White Sox in '77 whenever they would come to my cable in the St. Louis area. And I have an affinity for those big collar, untucked shirts that were around in the mid to late '70s. The white home with the black Chicago on it. Everybody said they look like pajamas, and I want one so bad. You can't find one anywhere. I have combed the internet trying to find that style. It's like they were so embarrassed of it, they're not even going to put out a replica of it. But I was weird. I always liked those untucked jerseys. Everybody else hated them. Everybody.
Them are the Ralph Garr jerseys back in the Ralph Garr days.
Garr, yeah. Claudel Washington, Britt Burns. Oh yeah. No, that's my wheelhouse for White Sox.
Yeah.
Back when they actually had like cable, there was cable TV and everyone can just turn it on and watch it.
Yeah.
I remember would watch the games with my grandpa on up in Markham, and he would You'd analyze them. That's kind of where I first started. You know, it's like my mom grew up. You know, she would root for the Cubs, and my dad and brother were mostly for the Sox. So it's like I'd go back and forth, but definitely something. You know, hanging out with my grandpa and him just kind of just chilling, observing, watching it, and I'm just like thinking as a kid, it's like, oh God, this is boring. You know, how do you get into that? And then, yeah, no, I couldn't eat those words quick enough now. So,
Uh,
I feel the same thing.
yeah,
I was watching a Sox game, um, somewhere in the 80s, and they were having a very good first half of the season. And I was watching the Sox game, and someone held up a poster that said "Yuppie scum, go back home to Wrigley."
yeah,
Oh,
That's a Sox fan right there. We are blue collar, gritty people, and you guys can go to your place in Chicago or
yeah.
in the North Side. We're fine.
So I don't think that guy would want the stadium to move. You know,
No.
right.
get too many guys like that angry, you're gonna have problems on your hands.
I wanted to ask you this. Do you see you've got your farm system is still loaded? Do you see a major trade coming up before the deadline?
I kind of am thinking that, and my worry is that they'll deal somebody like Caleb Bonnemer, or who is like the top prospect in our system right now, or maybe I don't know. They've made questionable trades before. I don't know if this success will kind of block their head and force them into an impulsive trade that they didn't need to do. I hope not. But I guess my answer is yes. Dreadfully, I think there might be some trade. I know that people are eyeing Boston, like Sonny Gray, trying to get him, and we know that's basically gonna take the whole farm, and for how many more good years? Like 1 year for a half year, like I don't think that would be worth it. But um, just like the Craig Kimbrell trade, when 21 when we got like dealt off Nick Madrigal and then Craig Kimbrell just did not perform well for the White Sox in the postseason. Just I don't know. I hope not, but it seems like I hope they just stay with the guys they had because they've been contending just fine with this team and the roster and their farm system. It's going to come down to what the other team wants, and if they ask for too much, maybe we'll say too bad, sorry, and
Well,
not make a trade.
I can say this from experience. You can trade someone to the Mets and you can get Peralta to
Yeah.
anchor your staff because the
Yeah.
Mets are dumb and you may be
So
able to like get a one-legged clubhouse attendant for him. So
it's you know, I try to make excuse. I've been trying to. I can't make excuses for them anymore. They are simply bad. Like it's kind of funny, but it's kind of mind-boggling at the same time. It's like $1 billion. It's almost like you get too much money and then you get further away from the reality of the situation or stuff like that. I don't know, but Juan Soto. It was good to see them have like that win last night, but for the most part, oh my God, it's been brutal for them. I feel bad for the fans, at least the ones that still show up. But that's where the Cubs got PCA for 6 weeks of Baez.
that's right.
Look at that. So you're right. We could probably trade him a bag of peanuts and a half pouch of Big League Chew and get Wandy Peralta and Luis Torrens. So I don't know.
By the way, one of our watchers of the show is a diehard Mets fan. So
Oh, I'm sorry.
Mark, we're just joking, okay?
Yeah, Mark, we love you. We love you, Mark. We've all been down there before, and you'll be back again one day, probably,
Yep.
hopefully.
And just a reminder, the White Sox have the record for the worst season record, not the Mets. So we beat them by what, like one loss. Like so, they had yeah,
I respect you guys. You stick with your team through thick and thin. So when you do have a good year, it just feels so good. You've come through all this. And
yeah.
I noticed some of the changes came, you have some super fans. Obama's a White Sox guy, and the Pope is a White Sox guy, and so maybe that little magic right there with both of them being fans. What would it take? What do you think is a good year? Would you be if they end up 500, which I think that's very possible. Playoff berths. What would it take for White Sox for you as a White Sox fan to say, you know what, that was a good year?
For me personally, I'd say 500. Coming into the season, like coming straight into the season, to start off the year, you lose to Milwaukee, but we weren't losing by much. And there were signs that were present that weren't there in previous years. But I would say 81 to 82 wins.
Oh, you might win the division.
That's
at 82 wins, you might win the division.
They could. And I'm just trying to not get carried away with the possibility that they could win around 90 games or so. They really could, because with the way, and I can't think about that because it's going to drive me nuts, and I'll probably get into sports betting. I'll download Polymarket. I won't stop thinking about it. So I gotta be cool about this. But they already surpassed they already got, they won like 61 games last year, and so they've lost. I'm tired of seeing triple digits in the loss column.
Yes.
Those days are gone.
Yeah, you're on the upswing right now.
That's basically, as long as we could get the further away we are from triple digits in the loss column, the happier I'm going to be. If 81 wins would be phenomenal. They have the possibility to get more. They could always go on a terrible slide, but I don't want that to happen. And fingers crossed that that's not the case. So,
well, we need to get going here, but I will say, I won't say if, I'm going to be positive. When you make the playoffs, we're going to have you back on.
All right.
And
all right.
In a couple of years, maybe we'll have a North Side, South Side World Series.
That would be great. That would be intense.
I'm at the point now to where, like, my ultra competitive, toxic, competitive mindset for sports is gone. Now it's just like, look at all these able-bodied people doing amazing things. I'm just enjoying it because it's just, I've had enough surgeries the last 7 years. It's just like, look at these guys jumping around without rupturing an Achilles. This is amazing. So, but thank you seriously for getting me on. I've been a little more scatterbrained. I got back fusion surgery at the end of April, so I've been trying to just tackle that. And I had my first physical therapy session this afternoon right before this, so things were a little backed up, scheduling, and my brain's been a little more scattered than I'd like to admit. But it's always great to be on and talk about sports with fellow fans, and I appreciate your time.
What size jersey do you wear, by the way?
This is a large.
Large? Okay. I'm just saying, I'm going to keep an eye out for you.
And what also, I got to correct myself. It wasn't 79. It was 83 when they came out with those red, white, like the socks, the big letter. It was the 83 alternates. Maybe they'll bring them back, but I think they're going to stick with the Chicago Bulls. They're pretty cool. So
they are cool.
I will hopefully see you guys back come playoff season. So
all righty, you take it easy and good luck the rest of the season.
Hey, you too,
sir.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, bye. JJ, I have another one of these cellophane 89 tops.
All right.
That I've been opening for the last 3 or 4 weeks.
I love them. And what year are they? What year?
89.
89. I'm going to say you got 2 Hall of Famers. Now, I'm just hoping to bring baseball cards. Last week, you saw I had hockey cards, and I swear I bought them in the baseball section. It turned out to be 91 hockey. But this time, I'm making sure it's baseball. I got the 2026 Series 2 75th anniversary top. So these are going to be no Hall of Famers yet. They might have, they might have a special card honoring a Hall of Famer or something in there.
When I was in the ministry, they would send cassettes of Christian music to the church.
Oh,
yeah, just
like hymns,
stuff.
Or
no, like contemporary Christian music.
Oh, like Rich Mullins or something like that, or Amy Grant,
stuff like that. So I would listen to them, and once I I didn't know who a lot of these artists were, because Christian artists, and, hey, we're the Jesus clan or whatever, and you never hear from them again. But anyway, so I put the tape in of somebody and I'm listening to it and I'm thinking, well, that's decent music.
Yeah.
And this is like 92 or 93. And then the second song comes on and the beat starts getting faster. And I'm thinking, gosh, man, these guys sound familiar. And all of a sudden, in the middle of a song, the lead singer says, I want to F your sweet ass. And I'm thinking,
What?
wait a minute.
Hey, what
But
church is that?
then I realized that is the new Rolling Stones album. And they put
Oh,
it in the wrong cassette. It said
oh
whomever,
my gosh. I
So
know that song too. That was Voodoo Lounge, I think, or maybe
Sparks Will
that was,
Fly or something like that.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so I don't care what's on the cover. You may open it up and you may have Garbage Pail Kids cards. Who knows?
Oh, that's true.
Right.
Hey,
I'm gonna
the Stones have a song called You'll Never Make a Saint of Me, and I think it was their last big hit. Check that one out. That was 2015 or something like that. That was a great song.
oh, I'm going to say two Hall of Famers too.
All right, that sounds
And
good.
I'm gonna start with Astro catcher Alex Trevino.
Oh
Whoops.
yeah, wait a minute. There he is. There's Trevino. I remember him.
Not a Hall of Famer.
Not a
Former Indian closer, former Astro closer, Doug Jones, Mr. Changeup.
Oh yeah, he had a long, good career.
Former Cub, former Astro, Billy Hatcher.
Oh yeah, 8 straight hits in the playoffs.
Yeah. Uh, for the Orioles, pitcher Doug Sisk.
I remember him, but I don't couldn't tell you anything about
Also for the Orioles, we have pitcher Oswald Peraza.
I remember the name.
Good
I
teeth.
did. Oh yeah.
Oh, former Mariner. I think he also played for the Yankees. And I think his brother was famed singer Elvis Presley. We have Jim Presley.
Especially. Oh wow.
Hey, former Cub, former White Sox, former Pirate, very happy guy here. Vance Law.
Look at that. Nice. His dad played baseball too, Vernon Law.
That's right, pitcher. Hall of Famer.
All of
You
hey,
like
yeah.
him? I'm not a huge fan of his, but you liked him. The late, great Gary Carter.
Oh, the kid. Yeah.
Former Royals All-Star closer, Jeff Montgomery.
Oh yeah. I have some real good cards of his.
The guy who invented the cutter. Former Expo, former Philly, Dave Palmer.
Dave Palmer. Really, he invented that. He was known for that pitch, huh?
Yeah, he didn't call it a cutter. He had an injury to his hand, so he had to hold the ball on the side, and so his pitch would cut.
Oh, yeah.
And he was the first one who kind of threw that. And at the time, they didn't know what to call you, so it's just my fastball. But now, it's a
Everybody.
cutter.
It's big. Yeah.
Um, Current Cub color analyst, former Astro, former Philly, former Twin, and former Yankee, Jim DeShays.
Oh, okay. I didn't know he was in the broadcast business.
Oh, he's great. He's
really good.
Yeah. For the Expos, we have Luis Rivera.
I don't remember him.
Ooh, former all-star outfielder with a cannon arm, played in that great Jays outfield. Lloyd Mosby.
Oh, yes. All-time stolen base leader for them.
Oh, this guy should be in the Hall of Fame, but he had some personal issues.
Well,
The forever happy and always smiling Barry Bonds.
oh, yeah. There, that looks pre-trouble right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, look how
Oh,
small
yeah.
his head is.
Yeah.
Look how, and what agitates me about this is if he wouldn't have used the roids, he would have been still thought of as like a Willie Mays or something like that, like
Yeah.
his godfather. Power, speed, average everything, but you know,
I think he
Yeah.
was jealous that Sosa and McGuire were getting all the attention.
Yeah.
So then there he goes. And you're right. But at 40 years old, he was hitting, 68 home runs. You're like, come on, man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you got?
All right. My first one here is this is a future, that's what's it called? Stars of the MLB. It's Trey Savage from Toronto.
Ooh,
I like that
great
card too.
playoff run.
Yeah. Oh, yes. They love him up there. This is a fancy refractor here of Freddie Freeman and the Dodgers. That's a nice looking card.
I like that.
Now, I don't have any Hall of Famers, but this guy right here will be a Hall of Famer. Freddie Freeman's put up a heck of a career.
Shoe in. First ballot.
I don't I wanted him to stay with the Braves. I like players that continuity of your great players stay there and retire there, but oh, it wasn't to be. All right. This guy's name is Brian Rocchio. I can't quite tell, but there he is. He's out there playing for Cleveland.
Okay.
All right. Oh, this guy's not a Hall of Famer, an All-Star this year. And here he is. This ain't the same guy that plays for the Phillies, is it? Ranger Suarez? Is that the Philly Ranger Suarez, or am I mistaken?
He's with the Red Sox now.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess I didn't keep up with that one. Sometimes I'm behind. All right. Here is Houston Astro sliding in. This is an action pick. Jake Myers. There he is.
Ooh.
Yeah, going in hard.
Defying gravity. I like that.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, this guy, he's been a little controversial lately. He's acting like he's given signs to the batter or what pitches are coming. And Josh Naylor, there he is with Seattle. I remember him with Cleveland. I couldn't believe they get rid of him. And one of his ex-teammates during not a fisticuffs, but an argument says, nobody likes you anyway. So, oh, man, that's pretty rough by an old teammate right there. All right. I have for the New York Yankees, Ryan Weathers. Right there, a reliever. All right. Oh, Mr. Cheat in fantasy football, and Tommy Pham did not like it. Jock Peterson, I think that's right after he got slapped. Right there. Look at that. Boom, he's recovered. So Texas Ranger, Jock Peterson, who has had a nice career. That guy's had a nice career.
He has, former Cub, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, now in the old days, the checklist, it was like a team picture. And I remember the Cubs were the only team where you just seen their heads. They like cut out around their heads, and the checklist would have all the Cubs' heads on there. Like
I remember that.
Yeah, the two Russell brothers. There they are. But now they have like an action picture where they're like pouring Gatorade on each other or congratulating. That's the White Sox right there. So this has been a White Sox Central podcast this time. This guy, Cleveland Guardian, I always think Indians first, but Guardian, and he's been there for a long time, and I just love this kid. Stephen Kwan, great defensive player, a leader, just a big part of that team. And again, they're another team that's got a shot at it this year. And Johan Rojas for the Phillies, and another action picture of him sliding. Now, he has better technique on his sliding than the other guy. The other guy was eating dirt.
Yeah.
But that's a nice slide in there. And Vince, that's it. That's my cards. The Freddie Freeman is the one I was really happy about, that refractor card right there. That's a nice looking card right there. So anyway, that's my set right there.
All righty. Well, thank you for joining us. Gosh, next week. It's the All-Star game next Tuesday?
Next Tuesday. You want to tape on Monday or Wednesday and watch the All-Star game? Or
yeah, we'll tape one a day early or a day late.
Whatever's best for you. Whatever's best for you.
I'll have to look at my schedule. But yeah, we'll do something next week. So
okay.
All righty. Well, thank you, Alec. I keep saying
Alex. He was great.
Thank you, Alec, for joining us, and thank you all for joining us. And we will see you next week.
Next week.